name's Maggie West and welcome to my channel. This is my first video. A lot of people requested me to tell my birth story about Ruby, or a get to know me. So this video is going to be about Ruby and the birth story about her. Being pregnant for 9 months was so hard and stressful. So whoever's pregnant out there, I give you a thumbs up because it definitely is not easy, but it is fun, but it's also not easy. About my pregnancy. My pregnancy started out to be rough. I was so nauseous. Like, I didn't even know what was going on at first. I was nauseous for some reason. This is before I found out. So I was like, okay, well that's weird. So I went home and I was just like, okay, something's not right. My body's off. And I went to sleep. I didn't think anything of it. And I woke up. I took a test because I knew something was wrong. And I found out I was pregnant. I'm 19 years old. And the thoughts in my head at that time were, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do this. The thought of me raising a human is so scary because I can't even take care of myself half the time. That was my thoughts at that moment. I called Randall and I was like, you gotta get over here. So he got over there. I told him, we were just like running through our thoughts, like what are we gonna do? Who are we gonna tell? Are we gonna keep this a secret for a while? But I found out in January that I was 4 weeks pregnant. And I told my mom in February, I'm pretty sure, because I announced it in the middle of February on social media. I told the public that I was pregnant in February, and everybody was so supportive. They really were. I mean, I gained new friends, I lost old friends, so I mean, it equaled out. But I found out in I found out in January, and I told the public in February. I had my gender reveal in March. I wanted a girl. Randall wanted a boy. He didn't really care what he wanted. But, that's just, I think every boy is like, I want a boy. And every girl's like, I want a girl. We had a girl. Her name is Ruby. It's Ruby Jane Scott. I really like it. Randall didn't care what the name was. He let me pick. And then we had a gender reveal in March. We found out it was a girl. And then the rest of the months, we were just getting prepared, getting ready for this baby. I did have nausea so bad. I threw up a lot in my first trimester, if not all of the first trimester. My second trimester was really tough too, but I didn't throw up as much. And then my third trimester was a breeze. But something right before my due date come up, I was just like, I have a feeling I'm gonna have a C-section. I don't know why I have a feeling, but I do. That's not really how women want to go through with their birth, because abdominal surgery is no joke. And who would want to get their abdominal ripped and messed up and just pulling and tugging? That's not what I had in mind. I didn't want that. I prayed and prayed and prayed that I would not, have a C-section, but something was just telling me you're gonna have a C-section. But I prayed every night that I wouldn't have one. But so me and Randall were at my house on September the 11th. That is my cousin's birthday. We thought that we were gonna have a baby on his birthday, but later that night we were just like, okay, well, I guess this isn't the day. My due date was September 13th, but September the 11th, around 10-ish, 10:30ish, I was having weird back pain. Like, never had back pain before, and it just randomly started like down here, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't anything that I could cry over, but I was like changing positions how I was seating, and I was just like, there's something going on, And then later in the night, they were getting worse. I was laying in bed and I literally could not stop moving because they were hurting. So I got in the shower to see if that would help. It made them worse. It made them stronger. It made them a lot quicker. And then little did you know, me and Randall were standing in my closet and my water broke. Got all over the floor, literally. So we knew it was time to go. I went to wake up my mom. We headed out the door around It was past 4 in the morning, and we got to the hospital, and I mean, my water was just continuously breaking. It was going everywhere. It's like I was sitting in a pool, and it was just the worst feeling. My contractions were horrible. Shout out to the women that can do it all natural, because wow, had the epidural when I was a 4, and some women, if not all, go to a 6. I could not do that. I was getting the epidural, and then, you know, they had me turning left to right. They gave me a peanut ball to see if she would come out, because she was stuck in my birth canal. And her heart rate, I honestly, I was asleep the whole time during the labor. 12 hours of labor and I was asleep. They told me if I went to sleep, it would go by faster, and it did. I only woke up if they came in there and woke me up and said, okay, we need to switch positions, or hey, do you want any ice chips? That's the only time that I would be awake. But I'm pretty sure the heart rate drop, that because it means they're getting closer, but hers was going up. And I also had strep B, and that's a really serious deal when you're pregnant. And if you have never been pregnant before and you don't know what strep B is, it's just something that some pregnant women get. It's a big deal because you're supposed to get to the hospital before your water breaks so they can get you on fluid, because the amniotic fluid can get a little infection in it if you don't. But my water broke before I got to the hospital. I landed to a 9 and she still wasn't coming out, and so she was stuck in the birth canal face up. And I was running all kinds of fever from the strep B. My blood pressure was getting high. They're like, okay, we gotta do a C-section. And I looked at my mom, because I didn't know what was going on at the time, and I was like, I don't want a C-section, but we gotta do a C-section. So we got in there, and they were, you know, they laid me on a table, and I was just like this, my legs out. I mean, when you give birth, there is no modesty at all. Everybody sees you, and at that moment, I did not care. But I already had the epidural, so I was already like numb from the waist down. Well, they gave me more medicine for the C-section, and I was numb from the chest down. And literally, I was so sick. I got sick during labor, and I got sick during the C-section. Wasn't really a good experience. But, so, you know, I was just a nervous wreck, because like I said, who wants to have a C-section and get ripped open? I didn't, but it had to be done that way. Be out. And I was a little bit confused on why she wasn't crying, and all of these horrible thoughts just ran into my head because, you know, my baby wasn't crying. So I looked at Randall, and the first thing I said was, why isn't she crying? And he said, it's okay, she's all right, she's great. Randall knew everything what was going on. He saw everything, he heard everything, what the doctors were saying. I wasn't acting like nothing was wrong, but I knew something was wrong, because babies cry. Babies cry loud when they come out of a woman, because I mean, they're in the new world. So I was just sitting there like, this isn't right, something's going on. To me as soon as she was born. So I knew that was a problem, because they always lay your baby on your chest. Even if you have a C-section, they still do that. Well, turns out my baby, Ruby, was dead when she came out. She had no color. They score a baby to 10 on how good their color is. I'm pretty sure it's called an APGAR, and her APGAR was 0. She was dead. You know, she was dead for 7 minutes. Whew, where's the toilet paper? And her APGAR was 0, and then they were, you know, they were doing CPR on her little chest, and to a baby, you know, you have to do 2 little fingers with chest compressions, and they actually left 2 marks on her chest because they had to do it so hard, you know. And her APGAR got to a 1, and you know, they were still like doing everything they could. They were getting her own fluids, they were getting like chest compressions even more. They were doing everything they could, and you know, I was just sitting there like, where's my baby? Where's my baby? And also, they have like a little tent where you can't see like how the surgery's going, because I mean, it's terrifying. But so like, I couldn't even see her. Randall saw what she looked like first. I didn't get to. I was just laying there like, you know, I was a wreck. but I didn't get to see my baby's face for the first time. I wasn't the first one to see it, and I didn't hear her cry, but they brought her over there to me, and I was like, she's so pretty. They had her like face like this, you know. They didn't put her on my chest, and that's every mother's dream, to want to feel your baby's, you know, their skin next to yours and feel their heartbeat and to calm them down when they're crying. I didn't get to experience that because she was stillborn when she came out of me, and the reason for that was because she was in the birth canal for so long and she was getting distressed, and her face, she was face up in the birth canal. They wouldn't have got her out, you know, if they would have waited a little bit longer, she might have not came back to life. They only let me see her for like 2 minutes maybe, and they said, okay, we gotta get her to the NICU, you know, ASAP. And I was just confused on why she was going to the NICU. I was too medicated to even understand everything that was going on, but they rode me back to the room, and then they told me I wasn't allowed to see my baby girl until later that night. I birthed her at 2:26 p.m. and I probably saw her around like 7:30, so I had to wait that long. But Randall got to see her as she was born. They let him and my mom go back to the NICU, and I was in the room just sitting there crying. I was so medicated. You know, it was just a very emotional time. But the reason why she was in the NICU is because they had to get her on fluids, because like I said, water was infected because I had strep B, and it passed down to her. So we had to get everything cleared out for her and make sure her oxygen was fine, because she came out dead. She wasn't breathing at all. They had to get her back on oxygen. They had to regulate her body temperature. But I finally got to go see her, and it was the best time of my life. I could not stop crying every time that I would just look in her face, and I was just like, this is my baby. This is my baby that I birthed. Just a wild feeling looking to her eyes for the first time. And I couldn't stop crying, and she was just, you know, she was just so innocent staring at me, and I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. She's just too perfect. Birth did not go as planned, and I'm pretty sure every woman is, you know, nervous about giving birth because they don't know what to expect. Things can change in a matter of minutes, and they always expect the worst, and I really did. I expected the worst to happen. And it's just a mother's intuition, I guess, because I knew something was gonna go wrong, and sure enough it did. But the doctors worked so hard on my baby. They took the time to, you know, to work with her, to get her back to life, because, you know, she was a little baby. She deserved that life. And so we call her my little miracle baby because, you know, she's a miracle. She was dead for 7 minutes, and she, you know, she just came back to life. So, I mean, a lot of people for that, but I can also thank God for that. They're amazing. They were awesome. My OBGYN, she was amazing. That day was just so hectic and so overwhelming. I didn't know what to like say, you know, because I didn't even know what was going on until later that night, and then the next day because I was medicated. I couldn't comprehend everything. To see my little girl now, and you know, she's great. She's healthy. I took her to her pediatrician when we got back, and he was like, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it was a huge paperwork of like these medical terms it's literally scary. I'm just giving you my words for it. All they're like saying, she's a miracle. We've never seen anything like it. Oh, she's gonna be so loved. And sure enough, she is. And you know, we are blessed to have her here, because this would have been a horrible, horrible time. And I'm very sorry for people out there that experienced that and didn't get the outcome that I did. Things happen for a reason, but you know, you just gotta trust in him, because he knows what lies ahead for the future. But I'm glad that Ruby's here, because I want to give her the best future and the best time of her life. And what else can you say? She's here, she's breathing, she's great. So that's the story of my birth. I hope you like this video, and if you do, subscribe to my channel. I'm new to this, but there will be more videos, and whatever you want me to video, I will do. just comment below what you would like for me to do. Also, give this video a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I was really happy to share this video with y'all.